the president has given me powers to make a re-entry, you know, to look at a lease agreement. If he has a lease agreement, we are going to cancel that one, because obviously we have to give back the land that belongs to the graveyard. So I have directed the people who are working on the brick wall fence to stop, and that a stop order is on its way. The council has already issued a stop order. It is on its way coming, so we have issued. And following that, the brick wall fence has to be pulled down. I've given him to pull down the fence within 7 days. If he doesn't do it by himself, we will come as a government to take it out. They can be assured. I've given him space to stop the construction and take down the fence by himself within 7 days. If he doesn't do so, government will use force to take it out.
The Ministry of Homeland Security says the committee that has been put in place in the implementation of the resource mobilization strategy for the Anti-Trafficking in Persons Fund plans to prioritize building an anti-trafficking in persons shelter. According to Irene Malumba, Undersecretary in the Ministry of Homeland Security, victims of trafficking are usually in shock and trauma, and they need shelter for counseling before reuniting with their families. Malumba says the shelter is one strategy of dealing with issues of trafficking. Malumba was speaking in Lilongwe when she officially opened a training and orientation on resource mobilization of the subcommittee of the implementation of Anti-Trafficking in Persons Fund.
This training is very important because it will enlighten the stakeholders, government officials, and also members of the resource mobilization subcommittee on how they can get funds from different institutions, agencies, donors, and even from the government. They have to know steps that they have to follow to get the funds. At the same time, they should also know why organizations or entities are supposed to get funds from different places or different people. So this is very important because they will be able to get the funds, at the same time know what's going on and why they are supposed to get funds, and even they will also have the confidence that after the resource mobilization, the funds are not there for individuals, but the funds will help the National Coordinating Committee against trafficking in persons.
In her remarks, member of the subcommittee, Fozia Osman, said the committee has lined up a number of activities to raise funds, including a gala dinner. She also says the committee is strategizing on reaching out to more donors, and the training has come at the right time.
One of the key things that we are trying to make sure that we get out of this training is how do we reach stakeholders, how do we reach corporates, how do we reach NGOs and other private sector to make sure that we are able to get funds, and more importantly, we want to come up with a shelter for persons that have been victims of human trafficking. So far we have just started. We are having a gala dinner. That is one of the things that we're going to do other than the trainings. That we'll run a series of trainings from now up to next year. We'll be having paid trainings that we expect the corporate sector and other NGOs to come in to help out us in trying to get these funds.
The National Statistical Office, NSO, has for the first time released the results of a census of economic activities with the aim of providing comprehensive data on the activities and structure for the Malawi economy. Speaking at the results dissemination conference in Lilongwe, NSO Assistant Commissioner and Head of Economic Statistics Division Liz Chikoti said census seeks to measure the true extent of investment in Malawi, both foreign and domestic. Chikoti explains more about the census findings, which was recorded between 2016 and 2017.
The results that we're disseminating today, that NSO is disseminating today, is for the census of economic activities. This is a census of all businesses that were operating in Malawi between 2016 and 2017. and it's the first of its kind. It's the first time that the National Statistical Office has conducted this type of activity. The reason for conducting the census is that we wanted to have a comprehensive list of businesses that are operating in Malawi. And this list is going to be used by the economics statistics surveys, any surveys that will be conducted for the economics sector. They can use this base, to sample the businesses that they are looking for. Yeah, so we visited a total of about, we had about 6,800 businesses in our sample that we're supposed to visit. These are from all the sectors of the economy. But then, unfortunately, we're not able to get a response from all these 6,800 businesses. So we had a response rate of about 56% from the businesses that we visited. The good thing is that even if the response rate was 56, but the big businesses responded very favorably. Like for the businesses that have a turnover of over 500 million Malawi kwacha, those ones, about 86% of those responded. And for those that have a turnover between 200 and 500 million kwacha, about 84% responded. So the big businesses responded very well.
The Technical, Entrepreneurial and Vocational Training Authority, TVETA, have pledged to exert more effort into the impartation of skills to the youth in the country. Executive Director for TVETA, Wilson Makulumiza Nkoma, said this during a press briefing on its achievements in the 20 years it has been operating in the country. Nkoma highlighted that TVETA was established as a solution to the increasing unemployment levels, saying TVETA has worked towards equipping people with the right skills. Nkoma also commended President Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika for initiating the building of community technical colleges that have further complemented TVETA's efforts in imparting skills and knowledge to the people in the country.
We've improved our access of skills development because some areas which did not have craftsmen to undertake certain works. Today you find there are a lot of them in those areas. But also in terms of access by females into the TVET, we've done substantially. Previously, you hardly see women bricklayers, women plumbers, women electricians, but today we'll see a lot of them on the market. And the good news is also that those women who have ventured into TVET, we are told that their performance is excellent out there, which is some good news for some of you ladies here. In addition to that, some of the successes we can share with you is that we have had to harmonize the TVET curriculum. We used to have 3 curricula in those days, one being administered by Malawi National Examinations Board, MANEB, the other one by trade test, and the other one by TVETA. But from 2017, those 3 curricula were harmonized, and we have one curricula right now. And following that harmonization, we also have one assessment body. So going forward is that graduates from the TVET will only sit for one exam and they will have one certificate. To us, that is very, very remarkable. Apart from the colleges where we send our trainees, we also have what we call informal sector training programs, where we also train our trainees.
You're watching News Outlook from MBC, and this is Area 4 Studios to be specific. We will take a short break, but we'll be back with more stories, so please don't go away. Welcome back to News Outlook. The Malawi Federation of Cooperatives, MAFECO, has commended COMSIP Cooperative Union for its steadfast growth over the years. MAFECO's Business Development Manager, John Mlangeni, said the growth should also be reflected in the primary cooperatives. He made the remarks in Lilongwe during the union's annual general meeting. He spoke to Miriam Kaliza.
The growth of COMSIP as of now is very strategic and encouraging because we have seen from where they've come from and we are seeing where they are going. You could actually see the number of things that they had outlined in their first strategic plan, the 2015-2018, where they wanted to have a shopping complex, promoting agricultural marketing. They also set up themselves to see how best they can come up with a financing arm for their cooperatives so that they are able to access funds, but also the funeral insurance cover. We also see the logistic plan which they've done. They'll be able to secure the van which they use to transport products from their members. We've also seen that they've also decided to come up with a shopping complex. They've secured the land. They're also planning to build a warehouse, which, if you look beyond 2015, those things were not there. So we actually see that this organization is growing towards the right direction. For the 2019-2022, it is a very important document because they are focusing on governance and organizational structure. You agree with me, most organizations these days are failing to perform very well.
And COMSIP Cooperative Union Limited Chief Executive Officer Tenson Gondwe said they are looking forward to the next 3 years as they ably achieved their objectives in the previous strategic plan.
What it means that at this annual general meeting, we are launching the annual the strategic plan, which will guide the operations and the management of the union for the next 3 years, which has been adopted by the members this January.
Would you say that the previous strategic plan 2015 to 2018 achieved its objectives?
Yeah, actually the last strategic plan really achieved its objective. One of the areas that we were focusing was to increase the membership from 350 cooperatives to now we have increased to around 889 cooperatives. So, and also to build capacity of cooperative executive, which we have done, and also to raise mobilize capital for the union. So we can say it has achieved its objective.
Moving forward, what should maybe cooperatives or Malawians expect from the concept?
Yeah, Malawians should expect that the concept of cooperative
and destinations across the world.
It's a very important partnership for us. This will help propel our efforts in destination marketing. As a brand, the largest and leading hospitality brand in Malawi, we have been trying to open up markets on the international as well as on the regional side of the world. And we feel with a partner such as this, this is a very important initiative that will open up those markets for us. As you know, Ethiopian Airlines is one of the largest airline brands in Africa, flying to over 125 destinations. And looking at that on their platform, our brand will be more visible, more awareness will be increased, and access for booking and accessing our services will be further increased. And this is an opportunity, one of the opportunities I should say, that we've been working towards. Our brand has matured over the years. Our footprint has extended further and wider within Malawi. We now have 9 hotels and resorts. We are offering quite a diverse offer in our resorts. Basically, you can visit Malawi through Sunbird because we have under it city hotels, lake resorts, mountain resorts, as well as nature resorts.
For his part, Nasibo Hailu, country manager for Ethiopian Airlines in Malawi, said the airline believes partnerships are vital in the promotion of tourism services. In an effort to make girls and young women aware of the sexual exploitation, US-based Malawian author Monica Tembo has launched her book titled Unspoken Truth. The book, which narrates that what women go through when they are being sexually exploited due to poverty, was launched on Thursday in Lilongwe. According to her manager,
words being said to her, and she had to be afraid, not knowing that their abusers, their harassers were the ones actually afraid. Now she had to shrink in self-pity, not knowing who to trust. How was the story going to be interpreted to her? Now it's where she had to gather courage. I have to do what it takes for myself to overcome this thing. I have to put an end to this thing.
But by virtue of writing the book, what does she intend to achieve?
As a writer, she did not only have to be selfish and think about her, she also had to overlook everybody else, not only women, not only children, but even maybe workmates at work, okay? Now, she gathered courage, I have to put an end to this because I'm thinking about my future. If I am reluctant, will I be able to attain whatever it is that I want to attain in my life? So if I shrink in self-pity, will I be helping myself or I'm helping somebody else?
So apart from launching the book in hotels, in places like this, do you have plans perhaps to take it to the people who matter, people on the ground, young girls out there?
Exactly. We are going to target everyone and anyone, no matter the race, no matter the age. No matter where you're coming from, not even in urban only, but even in the rural remote, where most of the children, most of the teenagers are believed to be disciplined, not talking out because it's an uncle who harassed them. So we are reaching each and every single corner across Malawi.
This book, I believe that it's going to empower girls to speak out on issues that are affecting them, especially issues to do with sexual abuse and harassment. And it's also going to equip them with other skills on how they can handle issues to do with sexual abuse and harassment.
after a successful trip around Africa, Malawi's self-styled Nyao King, or Tay Green, is to storm Blantyre this weekend. The show, which will be held at Barbecue in Blantyre on Saturday afternoon, has been organized by music giants Nyaza Music Group. The Nyao King now joins us in the studios. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
How was your trip? We understand you were in Sierra Leone?
Yes, I went to Sierra Leone. They had what they have there is the annual music festival, and I was one of the headliners for the festival. A great reception. There were more than 70,000 people at the stadium. So for me, it was a very big opportunity to showcase my music, but also represent Malawi on the international stage.
What was the response like towards your music, and understanding that maybe some songs are done in Chichewa?
I mean, music is universal. If it's good music, it's good music. And the reception was overwhelming. A lot of the people enjoyed the music. Some had already heard the music because my music was playing prior to me going to Sierra Leone. But it was a great opportunity as well to meet different African artists, and I collaborated with a lot of them. And this year we'll see a lot of music coming your way with different collaborations from that trip.
So how did you get to be recognized in order to be invited for this performance?
Right. So normally there are so many festivals that happen around Africa, and there's a meeting that takes place with all the organizers in terms of massive festivals in Africa, and they sort of share the different artists that are available to participate and perform in the different festivals. So even from that festival, next year I'll be touring Europe and as well as India for some new festivals that have come up recently.
What would you say about performing in a foreign land, and maybe just as an advice to other artists in Malawi who would want to break through on the international market?
It's always good to perform in different environments. It enables you to spread your music, gain new fans in different places of the world, and through collaborations as well. So my advice is do as many shows as you can. Sometimes even just offer your services to go and perform at different festivals so that people can see you, you can showcase your talent, and from that, who knows what opportunities might come your way.
Now, you are holding a show tomorrow in Blantyre at Barbecues.
Well, tonight, we're starting tonight. Tonight, we're at Living Room here in Lilongwe. So the people in Lilongwe, those that are around, let's come to Living Room tonight. Doors open at 8 p.m. and of course we're going to go all night long till the early mornings. And then tomorrow we're in Blantyre at Barbecue, which is in Mount Pleasant. It used to be called Blue Diamond back in the days, and that's where we're going to showcase the event. We're going to have a good party. We're calling on everybody to come out. It's the festive season, and this is the time to party and enjoy.
Okay, so what do you promise your fans?
For my fans, I promise them, as always, fire everywhere. You know, when I come on stage, we bring the best shows, the best events, the best parties, so that people can enjoy. And being the festive season for me, it's just it's a time to connect with my fans, time to give back to my fans, meet and greet, take pictures, and of course share some of the moments, some of the highlights of the year, and just to be in a space of fun, good vibes, and enjoyment.
Thank you so much for joining us in the studios.
Thank you for having me.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, that was Ty Green talking about his trip to Sierra Leone and of course a show in Blantyre and Lilongwe today and tomorrow. Now, on a sad note, the body of veteran musician, producer and politician Joseph Tembo has been taken from the mortuary in Lilongwe to Blantyre. Tembo, who was once a member of parliament under the ruling Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, died on Thursday afternoon after a short illness. Thousands of his fans, musicians and DPP followers flocked to the mortuary to escort one of Malawi's fallen music heroes. As a producer, late Joseph Tembo has helped mold the careers of several notable singers in Malawi. Tembo shared the stage with some music icons in the world that included the late Oliver Ntugudzi. Tembo also worked on famous Sendera song by the DPP Sendera Sisters that rocked the country and the DPP mass rallies. May his soul rest in peace. And on that note, we come to the end of this edition of News Outlook from Area 4 in Lilongwe. Many thanks to the producer Sam Piri, Miriam Kaliza, Redson Intiga on the camera, Kondwani Piri, as well as Tuhanga. My name is Patrick Dambula, wishing you a lovely weekend.
Make every tambala of your advertising budget count. Reach your target. Grow your brand with the market leader. NBC, your reliable, trusted, and mature companion. NBC, inspiring the nation.
A new star is born. Introducing Tinyoroke Quarrystone, a subsidiary of Tinyoroke Properties, a fully fledged Quarrystone company with 100% Malawian shareholding. Situated at Lunjika, just 30 kilometers from the green city of Nzuzu in the northern region of Malawi, Tinyoroke Quarrystone is the long-awaited solution to all your problems of sourcing quarrystone from as far as Blantyre, because we have enough stocks at our site 24/7, 365 days a year. As we migrate from bent bricks to the stronger and tougher stone bricks, with Tinyoroke, there is no need to import anything, as we have all the materials right here at home for all the modern roads, bridges, schools, hotels, big tall buildings. Let's develop our country's infrastructure to a new level with first-class quarry from our very own Tinyoroke Quarrystone. Our prices are very reasonable, and all prices are quoted in Malawi Kwacha. Save your money. Save Malawi Forex. Tinyoroke Quarrystone, proudly Malawian. A true game changer.
Welcome to this edition of Talk to the President. It's a program where we give you an opportunity to write the President and the President responds. We have that privilege that the President gives us his response. Welcome to this edition. You're with me, Vincent Konyongwa. Welcome to the program, Your Excellency.
Thank you. It has been a while.
It's been a while. Actually, this is the first edition after the elections.
Indeed.
So allow me, Your Excellency, to extend my congratulations to you for your victory in the elections.
Thank you.
Of course, there are some quarters that are disputing the election victory. How do you look at the post-election dispute in relation to the democracy that Malawi adopted in 1994?
Well, I think under our democracy that we are supposed to have elections, which were conducted, and I'm told they were free, fair, transparent, and credible, according to all international organizations, European Union, COMESA, African Union, and other observers. So we had the elections, and obviously some people are not happy with the elections, so they decided to go to court, which is their right to do so, because under the Constitution, there's provision for settlement of disputes under the Constitution and also under the various statutes, so they did that. The surprising thing is that apart from going to court, they also decided to engage in violent demonstrations on the same issue, so it doesn't make any sense at all. It means that there are some people, obviously by engaging in violent demonstrations, the losing parties, the opposition parties, have demonstrated that they're not committed to democracy, because democracy is expressed through the will of the people at the ballot box, and this is what happened. So they went into violent demonstrations, and I'm concerned about the president said that in the future, whenever somebody loses an election, they don't want to start violent demonstrations. I think it's very unfortunate, but in any event, there's a case coming out, and we'll wait and see what happens.
Actually, your response, Your Excellency, ties nicely with the question that we had from Victor Samati, who wrote us from Chikwawa. It says the HRDC has been mobilizing some citizens to demonstrate against your government. They have been changing their demands, but what has been consistent is the demand that the Malawi Electoral Commission chairperson, Dr. Jane Ansah SC, resigns. The HRDC, MCP, and UTM are accusing her of mismanaging the May 21 elections, and at some point they directly asked you to fire her. Why do you refuse to fire her?
She hasn't done anything wrong. They have gone to court to demonstrate there that she mismanaged the elections. They haven't demonstrated that yet. I will see the ruling of the court. So I see no reason to fire her. She hasn't done anything wrong. I cannot assume that somebody is guilty until, in fact, they're going through the court processes. This is what we're doing now, going through the courts. So I see no reason to fire her. By the way, observers thought that the Malawi election, the way it was managed, was one of the best and an example for the rest of Africa. By the way, Malawi, through Jane Ansah, Justice Ansah, has been elected as Sadiq African chair of elections. That demonstrates the confidence that people in the region have in the process that actually took place in May this year.
We also have a question, Your Excellency, from Mebo Makupete. She's writing from Sengabe. She writes, Mr. President, you've been speaking against demonstrations, but the Constitution of Malawi provides for the same. What is your point? Are you against the Constitution?
No, of course not. I'm not against the Constitution. I'm not against demonstrations either. I'm against violent demonstrations. I'll tell you what. I've demonstrated all my life. You go to Chipembere Highway, we'll demonstrate there against the British with the Chipembere, Aleke Band, and other Chikwawa and other. We demonstrate. All the way to City Hall there. I've demonstrated in London. I've demonstrated in New York against apartheid, against Rhodesian government, against so many things. I marched on Labor Day in Paris, in London, New York, Washington, all over the world I've done so. I support demonstrations because they're an expression of a point of view, but they must be peaceful. What I'm against is violent demonstrations or demonstrations which are deliberately planned to be violent. Those are the ones I'm against.
Mr. President, we also had a question from Stiveria Chikapa, who wrote us from Mchinji. She says, the church played a crucial role in bringing democracy in Malawi. The civil society is considered the bloodline of any functional democracy. How do you analyze the role the two institutions are playing in the present Malawi?
Yeah, they're very important, obviously, organizations. The church is very important. It must provide moral leadership in this country, and also spiritual leadership in this country. The government, you provide the economic, physical side of life. They assist with spiritual life. So we complement each other. Now, civil society, of course, they have a role to play in society, work with the government. But I think the problem you have in this country is that some civil societies see themselves as an opposition to the government. Now, you understand, this is an elected government. Some of these civil societies have never been elected by anybody. You go to HRDs or any of them, there is no board of directors. Those self-appointed people have been there for the last 20 years. There is no governance there, no democracy. There are no women participants. There is no gender equality there. So these are people who are hypocrites, and what they're doing in this country is very, very unfortunate. Unfortunately, there are many civil society organizations in this country that are responsible, but they've been quiet. They need to speak out also. I think they've been too quiet and allowed one or two people with loud voices to make a lot of noises. Civil societies are important, but also they must be accountable. They're accountable to no one. That's why we passed that NGO bill, which they're opposing. They're opposing the bill because they don't want to be accountable to anybody. They want to get donor money and use themselves. Last year, 90% of donor money was not accounted for. Where is their accountability? Where is their moral standing?
Talking about the issue of accountability, Your Excellency, it ties to the question that is next here, which is coming from Chris Mafuta of Karonga. It says, on several occasions, you've accused civil society organizations of shunning accountability. What is the basis of your accusation?
The same thing I've already said, that they're accountable to nobody, they don't make any annual reports, we don't know their source of money and how they spend it, they don't report to anybody, they're not audited by anybody. And that's why this new bill that is before Parliament wants them to be accountable. And of course they're resisting it because they don't want to be accountable. They want government to be accountable, and that's fine. But they too must be accountable. It goes both ways. Stop being hypocritical, for once at least, in this country.
Next is a question from Filippo Chimwere, writing from Lilongwe, staying on the issue of civil society organizations. He writes, why is it that it seems that it's only your government complaining about how NGOs are abusing donor money in the country? Why not the donors themselves, if indeed there are concerns in this area?
I think you have to ask them, the donors themselves. Why is it that they give money to people? The people they know, they don't account for the money. They don't see the results on the ground, other than having a few meetings. Why they give the money, I don't even know. And why they don't ask them to be accountable, I don't know either. I think you have to ask them. They have responsibility. They want the government to be accountable. We are accountable to Parliament and so forth, but they don't want their civil society people to be accountable for whatever reason, but only known to themselves. You have to ask them that question.
Your Excellency, talking about issues of accountability, we've recently seen that the International Monetary Fund, IMF, has basically opened the aid taps for Malawi since 2013 to now they've resumed that. What will you do to ensure that you consolidate the gains that have been made here?
We'll make sure we'll continue to have prudent financial management, to be accountable, to improve the economy, and so forth. If we do that, I think they'll continue to support us. And I've seen the last 5 years, 6 years now, 5.5, since May 2014, that we have managed to stabilize the economy. The quality has been stable now. Foreign reserves, the highest in the history of this country, up to almost 6 months, more than the 3 years that's normally recommended. The quality has been stable, exchange rates have been. Inflation is at the lowest in the history of this country. And I'm talking interest rates, I think the lowest since 1985 or something. I saw a report by the Reserve Bank of Malawi. So I think IMF and others have seen the manner in which we are managing the economy in a very prudent way, and they want to support us. And I really appreciate that they see what we're doing, and that they want to support us. and we appreciate their support.
When you get such reports, how does it make you feel?
Well, we feel vindicated. We feel good that we're on the right path. That's been very, very difficult. It only is a takeover of this government. We're the first government to run this country without budget support for 5 years. It wasn't easy. And we still managed to keep the country together. So we feel good that I think we have been vindicated. They feel we've done a good job, and that we'll come back as partners to work with us in developing the country further.
Well, this is a Talk to the President on NBC. It's a program where we give the President an opportunity to respond to your questions, and of course we are privileged to have His Excellency the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, responding to your questions. We'll be right back. Welcome back, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
We have a question next coming from Felix Dambuleni. He's writing to us from Salima. He writes, in several of your public speeches, you have singled out mindset as one of Malawi's drawbacks. What makes you say so? What do you mean by the need for mindset change?
Well, I think we need to change our attitude. I think we need to believe in ourselves. We're too negative. I think we think about this country always negatively. We need to change that. You see, this mentality, taker mentality, is the one that's holding us back. You know what? You'll see foreigners who come here from other countries, some refugees, without a penny. Within 2 or 3 years, they're driving Prados. We're here, all these years, we can't even drive a bicycle. And why is that so? I think part of the reason may be our mindset, that some people come in, they see opportunity in this country. We look at this country, we saw many negative things. You know, we need to change and believe in ourselves. I think we're too much. You see, one of the problems we have in this country, if there's a problem, instead of analyzing it, find the root causes and how to solve it, we spend our time trying to find somebody to blame. It's either the government or it's witchcraft or something, you know, that's causing our problem. And I think the problem we have, I'll give you a good example. You know, in Zimbabwe, Zambia, South Africa, they're having serious blackouts there, very serious blackouts, because of water levels, Kariba Dam, and of course, there are heavy rains in South Africa. But you won't hear people there blaming the presidents of those countries. They know that these are objective conditions that have created this kind of situation, and the government is trying its best. But here, if the low water levels in Lake Malawi, so can't pump those turbines over there down Kapincha, this is Peter's fault. You should have made sure that there is rain, enough rain, Lake Malawi. We have got to get away from this mentality of always scapegoating, trying to find somebody to blame. If there's a problem, let's try to solve it. So we need to change our mindset. We need to be positive. We need to see the bottle as half full, not always half empty. Yes, we need to have that kind of positive attitude. And I think if we don't do this, we'll continue to be in a situation where we feel there's nothing we can do at all in this country because things are so bad. The state has failed, and we're damned, and we're a cursed nation. That kind of mentality we've got to get away from and begin to think positively. That's what I'm saying, that we must change our mindset. We must be positive. I think where we see as problems, some people see as an opportunity. The example I gave you, I don't know, I was giving a speech somewhere, I don't know where it was, of that person who sent 2 people on an island, a shoemaker, and 2 people came up with 2 different points. One person said, nobody wears shoes there, so there's no point, in fact, of having a shoe factory there. The other person said, there are no shoes there. Nobody wears shoes. So it's an opportunity to set up a shoe factory. And he fought a second report and set up a very successful shoe factory. So two individuals, the same situation, seeing it different. One person saw it positively, the other person negatively. This is what I'm trying to say. It's not always that the bottle is half empty. Sometimes it's half full. We should have that kind of positive in mind. This is what I'm talking about change of mindset.
Yeah, in your explanation, Your Excellency, you talked about the issue of rainfall, people blaming you for not receiving rainfall in the country. You recently traveled to Spain, where there was a climate change conference.
Yeah.
And how do you look at the issue of climate change in Malawi? How affected are we?
Oh, very much so. Very much so, as you know, for example, the water levels on the lake. If you go to the wrong way, you look at the bridges, under most of the bridges, half of them there's no water. There should be water, there's a river running, now it's sand. You go, you see the heavy rains that are coming, winds. All these things are caused by climate change, no question about it. Carbon emissions, it's a serious problem, it's affecting us in a very, very major way. And that's what we were trying to say in Spain. And also we're saying, look, 90% of these emissions have been caused by the developed countries. And yet the developing countries are the ones that are suffering the most. And that they have a responsibility, and to make sure that they make some kind of reparations, assist us to meet the challenges of, so that we can set up resilient programs to mitigate the challenges of climate change. And as you know, the issue has not been successful. The issue of the carbon thing has not been concluded, but we'll conclude next year. There will be a conference in London, COP26, and we'll go and make the same case again. Make sure that developed countries follow the Paris Agreement and that they assume their responsibility.
Next is a question from Albert Colio, writing from Cholo. Your Excellency, he writes, there are ongoing murder cases of elderly people in the country. Elderly people are being accused of being witches and they're being murdered in cold blood, especially in rural areas. What do you make of these murders?
It's very unfortunate that we have these murders going on in this country and elderly people being accused of, whenever anything happens there, it's because of them. If somebody dies, because of them. I remember when I was growing up in Cholo, there was a lady called Mai Nanjuzi. Somewhere near Ndata Estate there at Manga's village. Whenever it didn't rain, she was accused with Manga Mvula. And people would go there and the district commissioner would come and actually arrest her and so forth. She'd be accused every year. My Nanju's by some Manga Super. For some reason, after she was arrested, then the rains came after that. But it was just coincidence. But the thing is, it's not anything new, blaming the elderly for these kinds of unfortunate things. And again, it's a mindset issue and ignorance that we need to get away from. The elderly people have played their role, have contributed to the country, and certainly they should not be putting this kind of situation in jeopardy just because they're elderly. It's unfortunate, but of course a product of ignorance, but also negative mindset. It's the fault of that. That's why we're having famine here. It's because of that elderly man or woman. It's the same kind of mindset, which we talked about earlier, that we need to get away from it. We really do. Because it's holding us back. We're not moving forward with this kind of thinking. As a country, we're not.
Well, Your Excellency, I think we have to leave it there for this edition. In case you may have some concluding remarks, you may offer them now, Your Excellency.
Well, first of all, I enjoyed this. Thanks for coming. It has been a long time since the elections, but things have been hectic. Let me just say that during this festive season, I think we need unity in the country. We need to love one another. The violence that has taken place last 6 months, unfortunate. We need to forgive each other. Various people have wronged, we all have wronged each other. We need to put that behind us and try to build this country. You see, one of the unfortunate things about what has happened is that it has created the violence here, has created a spirit of lawlessness I just heard as I was coming. I just found that I believe it's in Kamenya, Kasungu, that people there have burned the police station because I think there was a thief who was arrested by the police, and the people there wanted him to be surrendered to the police. Of course, the police are not going to send a person to them so that they can kill him. Of that situation, and I think another one in Kasungu, just was coming, that what happened, a child was killed or found dead in a store belonging to a Burundian, and I think partly was eaten by a dog, apparently, which is very, very sad indeed. And that's led to riots and looting and so forth. Now, what has happened is we have created a situation of lawlessness in the country. The kind of thing when our situations where students can burn their own secondary school, then their own school and burn it. What kind of thinking is this? Where are we going as a country? They know that they'll be chased away from school for several months, they'll come back. But the exam calendar will not wait for them, and they want to be ready for exams. And they won't pass their MSCC. And if you don't have MSc in this country these days, you won't get anywhere in life. How can students burn their own secondary school? You see, a bridge that was built, go and destroy it for what? So we need to get away as a nation. We're on a wrong path in terms of our national psyche. We need to move away from that and go back the old way when this country was really called the warm heart of Africa. It was called warm because people cared about each other. We no longer do that. I think we need to move away. We have gone astray as a nation. We need to move away from this reckless behavior, violence, selfishness, and so forth, and go back to where this country was.
It was called warm because people cared about each other. We no longer
thank
do
you
that.
for coming.
I think we need to move
and
away.
I will see you next time.
We have gone
at the
astray.
next session.
Thank you.
As a nation, we need to move away
Well,
from
that's all we
this
had time
reckless
for in this
behavior,
edition of Talk to the
violence,
President. It was coming to you from
selfishness,
Sanjika Palace
and so
in
forth.
Blantyre.
And
We have the privilege
go
of
back to
having
where this
His
country
Excellency the
was,
President,
the warm
Professor
heart of
Arthur Peter
Africa.
Mutharika, respond to
Now,
your
thank you
questions.
for
Right
coming,
to the producer,
and I will see you
Talk to
next
the
time
President,
when we have the
Malawi
next
Broadcasting
session.
Corporation, PO Box
Thank you so much.
30133,
Pleasure.
Chichiri, Blantyre 3.
Well,
And
that's
the
all we had
President
time for
will be
in
right
this
here
edition
to
of
respond
Talk
to your
to the
questions.
President. It was
This
coming
has
to you
been
from
Vincent
Sanjika
Kunyangwa.
Palace
Bye
in
for now.
Blantyre. We had the privilege of having His Excellency the President, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, respond to your questions. Right to the producer, Talk to the President, Malawi Broadcasting Corporation, PO Box 30133, Chichiri, Blantyre 3. And the President will be right here to respond to your questions. This has been Vincent Kunyangwa. Bye for now.
The biggest event in Malawi is finally here. NBC Innovations Awards 2019. Patriotism, integrity, hard work. Patriotism, Friday, 20 December 2019, all roads lead to Sanjika Palace with the guest of honor and host, His Excellency the President of the Republic of
Friday,
Malawi,
20 December 2019, all roads lead to Sanjika Palace with the guest of honor and host, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Malawi, Professor Arthur Peter Mutharika, and the First Lady, Madam Professor Gertrude Mutharika.
We're delighted in promoting NBC Innovation Awards. And we encourage that our national values of patriotism, integrity, has been steadfast. These are the cornerstones in promoting progressive values. NBC has always promoted
celebrating innovation for national development. With only 800,000 kwacha for a table of 10 or 80,000 kwacha per herd, witness NBC honoring sons and daughters of Malawi who have done extraordinary things in various fields of innovation.
With only 800,000 kwacha for a table in various
The 2019 MBC Innovation Awards has been made possible with contributions from the following: Ejenko.
19 MBC Innovation Awards has been made possible with contributions from the following: Ejenko,
MBS, Tobacco Commission, NOCMA, Planta Water Board, Lilongwe Water Board, Malawi Gaming Board, Southern Region Water Board, MAST, Higher Education Students Loans and Grants Board, MERA, Salima Sugar, Lilongwe Handling Company Lihako, Agrizone, Huawei, Lilongwe China Grand Business Park, Malawi Institute of Management MIM, MEDEF, Tiveta,
Reunion Insurance, Reserve Bank of Malawi, Malawi Bureau.
MBC Innovations Awards 2019, inspiring innovation.
Has been steadfastly in promoting progressive values. MDC has always promoted our national values of patriotism, integrity, and hard work. These are the cornerstones